Jai Hind, students. Myself, Dr. Meenakshi from Applied Science and Humanities Department, AKG. So today I'm taking one of the course which is run in the second year, which is Mathematics 4, with subject code BAS 303. And I am taking one topic from Unit 1, which is partial differential equations. So today I'm going to take one of the important topic of Unit 1, which is the Lagrange method. So first of all, what is the meaning of Lagrange method and where should this method be applied? So first of all, I discuss the definition of the linear partial differential equations of first order. So what is the meaning of linear partial differential equation? As the name suggests, this must be a partial differential equation, means, and second one is that must be of first order. First order means it must contain only the first order partial derivatives p and q. And what's the meaning linear? Linear means that p and q must occur in first degree also. Means any equation which is in first order in first degree is called a linear partial differential equation of first order. So if we read out the definition first, so a differential equation involving first order partial derivatives p and q only is called a partial differential equation of first order if p and q both occur in first degree only and they are not multiplied together, then it is called the linear partial differential equations of first order. And Lagrange method is applied to only these type of equations. So here in your syllabus, you have only one type of linear partial differential equation, which is very important, which is the Lagrange equation. So what is the Lagrange equation? A Lagrange equation is the partial differential equation of the form PP plus QQ equal to R. This is the Lagrange equation, where this capital P, Q, R are the functions of x, y, z only. And you know that in this small p stand for del z by del x and small q stand for the partial derivative del z by del y. So this type of equation is called the Lagrange equation, and to solve this Lagrange equation, we use a method which is called the Lagrange method. So first of all, we discuss the working principle for this Lagrange method. So what is the working rule for Lagrange method? This Lagrange method moves in 3 steps. So to solve this type of linear partial differential equation, the first step is to write down the auxiliary equation. The auxiliary equation for the Lagrange method is written in the form dx by capital P is equal to dy by capital Q equal to dz by capital R. Okay. So after writing this auxiliary equation, we need to solve these equations to find out 2 independent solutions. And how we find out these 2 independent solutions? So we have two methods over here. One is called the method of grouping and second is called the method of multiplier or both. So either both the independent solutions are found by the grouping method or by the multiplier method, or for one solution we use the grouping method, for one solution we use the multiplier method. And what we need to find? We need to find 2 independent solutions of the form u equal to a and v equal to b, where a and b are arbitrary constants. What's the next? Next is you need to write down the complete solution or the general solution, which is either written in the form function of u comma v equal to 0 or u is equal to function of v. So these are the 2 ways in which we are going to write the general solution or the complete solution. So this is the working rule for Lagrange method, which consists of just 3 steps. So next I am taking some examples for this Lagrange method, which we are going to solve over here. So look at the first example. What says? Solve the partial differential equation y square p minus xyq is equal to x into z minus 2y. So first of all, we need to check whether this is Lagrange linear equation or not. So I need to compare this with the equation that either in the form some pp plus capital Q into q equal to r. So if I compare this with this equation, so I get what is this y squared? This is nothing but capital P. What is this minus xy? This is nothing but capital Q. And what is this right hand side function of x and y? This is nothing but capital R. And since this equation contains only the single order variables p and q, so this is the Lagrange linear equation. So now we go to the working rule of Lagrange equation. So start the solution. What is the first step we have written? That we write down the auxiliary equation over here. The auxiliary equation is of the form dx by capital P is equal to dy by capital Q is equal to dz by capital R. This is the auxiliary. So just put the value PQR over here. We write down in the form dx upon P is y square, dy upon the capital Q is minus xy, and dz upon the capital R is x into z minus 2y. This is capital R. So first we write down the auxiliary equation. Now what we need to do, we need to find two independent solutions by solving these auxiliary equation. So first we check for the grouping method. What is grouping method? Grouping means that we need to equate any of the two fractions such that those fractions will give you an integrable form. Clear? So what I do, if I look at the first and second fraction over here, so I need to equate the first and second fractions over here. So for the first independent solution, just look at what we have taken. I have taken from first and second fractions. So we take the first and second fractions over here. What we get dx by y square is equal to dy upon minus xy. If we try to solve it, look at the y value will cancel out from denominator. And if we check whether this is integrable or not, dx by y is exactly not integrable because we are differentiating with respect to the variable x and here we have the function of y. But if I do the cross multiplication, then I can make it integrable. So what I do the cross multiplication, I get something like x dx is equal to minus y dy. I keep minus over here. I shifted x over here making it x dx and y over here making it y dy. So x dx is equal to this minus sign minus y dy. And now you look at that this is integrable because with dx we have the function of x, with dy we have the function of y. And if this is integrable, so the last step is to just integrate both sides. So when I integrate both sides, I put the integral over here, I put the integral over here. But the integral x dx, you all know I think the integral x dx is x square by 2. And integral y dy, this is on the right hand side with a minus sign. So this is minus y square by 2 plus 1 constant of integration, let I take it c1. So if I need to find out my first independent solution, I shift this over here. So x square by 2 plus y square by 2 is equal to c1 is my first independent solution. In some of the books, to manipulate this 2, this constant c1 is also taken as c1 by 2 such that this 2 will cancel out from each term, giving you the solution x square plus y square equal to c1. Yeah, but it's okay, you can write it, leave it in this form also. This is the first independent solution. X square by 2 plus y square by 2 equal to c1. So after writing this first independent solution, I now think about my second independent solution, how I find my second solution. For the second solution, again I think for the grouping method, whether the grouping is possible between any of these three fractions or not. So what I need to do now, I'm going to equate the second and third fractions over here. It's dy by minus xy is equal to dz by x into z minus 2. So in the next page, now we're going to equate for the second independent solution. I'm going to equate the first, second factor is dy by, it's xy. Over here, dy by xy is equal to dz upon what we have in the last step, dz upon x into z minus 2y. Into z minus 2y. Check it once. dy by minus xy. Minus. Clear? So dy by minus xy is equal to dz by x into z minus 2y. If now we equate these two fractions, we try to solve it. This x will cancel out from denominator from both sides. And now if we look at, is it integrable? So yes, dy by y is integrable, we can integrate it. But what about the left hand side? dz by z minus 2y is not integrable. Due to the presence of this 2y, this function is not. So what we start doing, we again start doing the cross multiplication. So just start doing the cross multiplication, but we get, we have the minus sign over here. With this move over here, this is minus of z minus 2y into dy is equal to shifting this y over here. This is y dz. Or I can solve it. This is minus z dy minus minus plus 2y dy is equal to y dz. And now I need to shift all the terms on one side. So shifting these two terms on the right hand side, I can write this as y dz plus z dy minus 2y dy is equal to 0. This is the value. Now, if you look at whether this is integrable or not, so this last term here, this is 2y dy. This is obviously integrable, the function of y, differential of y. But what about these two terms? These two terms individually they are not integrable, but if I take it in a pair, I always write this pair as total differential of y into z. Next term is 2y dy is equal to 0. Look at how we write this one. If I take it differential, just apply the product rule. First function y as it is into differential of z, second term, plus second function z as it is into differential of y dy minus 2y dy. And now this term is integrable. So if this is integrable, the last step is to just integrate it to find my second independent solution. So just integrating both sides, the integration of differential of yz, what happened? This will cancel out, giving you the value yz only, minus, and what is the integration of 2y dy? It's y square by 2, 2 cancel out. So I left with only the value y square, and this is equal to another constant of integration, which is suppose C2, and this is my second independent solution. So yz minus y square equal to C2, I obtained my second independent solution. So this is my aim, just to obtain two independent solutions. And finally, I need to write down my general solution, or I can say my complete solution. What is the form of general solution? It's f of u comma v equal to 0. This is the form of general solution. We have already discussed in the working rule. So finally, I write f of u. What is this u? U is my first independent solution. If I look at in my last slide, this is u. X square by 2 plus y square by 2, which is equated to C1. This is u. So I can write over here, it's x square by 2 plus y square by 2 comma v. What is v? V is my second independent solution. So this is yz minus y square equal to 0. So this is my final complete solution for the first order linear equation by using the Lagrange method. So what we have done in this, we have used the grouping method to find out both the independent solutions. So this is my first example. Now I am coming to the next question. What is the next one? Solve the partial differential equation. We have mz minus nyp plus nx minus lzq equal to ly minus mx. And if again you can check whether this is the Lagrange linear equation or not. So if I need to compare this with the form some pp plus qq equal to r. So yes, this is Lagrange linear equation. Clear? This is here capital P, the function of x and y. This is here capital Q, and this is capital R. So we are starting the solution over here. We first write down its auxiliary equation or the subsidiary equation. This is also called the subsidiary equation. So I know that the equation is dx by capital P is equal to dy by capital Q is equal to dz by capital R. This is the equation. Just put the value capital P, Q, R over here. I write this is dx by mz minus ny dy by nx minus lz dz by ly minus mx. This I have written, write down the auxiliary equation. Now I first check for the grouping method, whether the grouping is possible or not. How you check for grouping? Ki whether if you equate any of the two fractions over here, is it possible to make it integrable? So if you check all the three fractions over here, neither I can take common outside any variable or any constant, nor I able to cancel out any variable. So grouping is not possible over here. So what we do, we need to apply the second method, which is the method of multiplier over here. So for the first solution, I need to think about my first set of multiplier. How the multiplier work? Multipliers are, what are multipliers? Multipliers may be constants, may be variables. Maybe constants, maybe variables. And multiplier, like if you multiply the denominator one by one with those multipliers and just add them, you get the value 0 in denominator. That's the first type of multiplier, you can say. So I now need to think about the first set of multipliers such that when I multiply the denominator and add them, I get the value 0 in denominator. So what I take x, y, z as the first set of multipliers over here. Look at, I have taken x, y, z as my multiplier. This you need to think yourself about the set of multipliers. Okay? So what is the result of multiplier? Result of multiplier is equal to all these three fractions. So in place of writing each and every fraction again, we write like this, that each fraction, what is the meaning of each fraction? Means each fraction in this auxiliary equation, which are already equated, they are further equal to the result of multiplier. Look at how the multiplier work. The first fraction in numerator and denominator to be multiplied by the first multiplier, which is x. So I am first writing the numerator part. So I write down like this, x dx. The second factor in numerator and denominator to be multiplied by the second multiplier y. So plus, and I add this over here, plus. Similar, the third multiplier to be multiplied by the third fraction numerator denominator. So this is z dz upon. Look at what we get in denominator. If I multiply this first denominator by x, just simply multiply by x, I get mx z minus nx y, first one. The second multiplier is y, so multiply the second denominator by y. So this is nxy minus nzy. And the third multiplier is z, multiply by z. So this is lzy minus mzx, like this one. You must remember your aim, that your aim is to make the denominator equal to 0. So now just we check. This is mxz, this is minus mxz, these two will cancel out. Minus nxy plus nxy, these two will cancel out, and minus lzy plus lzy, these two will cancel out, giving you finally the value in the denominator equal to 0. So this is our aim of choosing the multiplier. What happened now? This 0 will move over here, making each and every fraction equal to 0. And what this further implies, that what we have here in numerator means x dx plus y dy plus z dz. This must be further equal to 0, because this 0 will go over here, making each and every fraction equal to 0. So we are getting that this is equal to 0. And if you check that this is integrable, so this is integrable, so just integrate both sides. What the integration x dx? You know that its integral is x square by 2. Integration y dy, it's y square by 2. Integration z dz, it's z square by 2 is equal to c1. So this is my first independent solution, x square by 2 plus y square by 2 plus z square by 2 equal to c1. This is my first independent solution by taking the first set of multipliers x, y, z. Now next what? Next I need to think about my second set of multiplier, because I need to find out two independent solutions. Clear? So what I take the second set of multipliers, I already explained to you that multipliers may be variables, may be constants. So here we have taken the variables. So next I am taking the three set of constants over here. Let I take the three multipliers as L, M and N. So what the meaning? I multiply the first fraction by L, second by Y, third by N. So first we write down these three fractions in the next one. It's dx by mz minus ny. I write it over here, dx by mz minus ny is equal to dy upon, it's nx minus lz, nx minus lz is equal to dz upon, the last one is ly minus mx, ly minus mx, this is the one. So I need to think about my second solution. I have explained you, take L, M, N. as multipliers. To find the second independent solution, I take L, M, N as the multipliers. Just take the multipliers, I write again the same, that each fraction is equal to the result of multiplier. The first one I multiply by L, it's L dx, second by M, M dy, third by the constant N, it's N dz. Please look at the denominator concentrately. The first I am multiplying by L. So just multiply, it's getting LMZ minus LNY. Second one is M, so it's MNX minus MLZ. Minus L. Next one is N. So this is LNY minus LMX. I write like this. These are the terms. Again, we check whether the denominator is tending to 0 or not. So this is plus LMZ, this is minus LMZ, this will cancel out. Minus LNY plus LNY will cancel out. And plus MNX and minus MLX will, sorry, this is N, I have written wrongly, NLX will cancel out like this. So what we have done, we have just cancelled all the terms in the denominator, making the value as 0. 0 will become the denominator. Just shift this 0 over here. This will make each and every fraction 0 and giving you the value L dx plus M dy plus N dz will become equal to 0 now. And again, if you check, this is dx. This is integrable. This is integrable. So now just we integrate both sides. What the integration of L dx? L is a constant. Integration of dx is x itself. So this is Lx plus similar, this is My plus Nz is equal to the second arbitrary constant C2, and this is my second independent solution. So Lx plus My plus Nz equal to C2 is the second independent solution. So we need to find out just two independent solutions. The first we have already found it out. This is the second one. So the last step is to write down the general solution. But the general solution is of the form again f of u comma v equal to 0. F of, again I check in the last slide, what is my u? U is my first solution, x square by 2, y square by 2 plus z square by 2. So this is u, x square by 2 plus y square by 2 plus z square by 2 comma v. V is the second solution, Lx plus My plus Nz equal to 0. This is my complete solution, the last general solution for this equation. Clear? So this is how we solve the, we have used the multiplier method over here. In the first question, we have used grouping method. In this question, we have used the multiplier method. Okay. So I am taking the last question over here in this slide. Solve the partial differential equation y square x plus yp, x square x plus yq equal to x square plus y square into z. Again, this is Lagrange linear. So we directly start writing down its auxiliary equation first. I hope you know how to write down now the auxiliary equation. It's dx upon capital P, which is this y square x plus y is equal to dy by capital Q, which is x square x plus y is equal to dz upon x square plus y square into z. Again, we check first for grouping. For the first solution, we check for grouping. If we look at whether you can equate any of the two fractions to make it integrable. If we look at the first and second fractions, so obviously in both the factors, we have the factor x plus y which will cancel out on equating. So for the first solution, we take first and second fractions. Just take the first and second fraction. What we get? I write dx by y square, x plus y is equal to dy by x square into x plus y. Yeah. What happened? This x plus y will cancel out. And again, you know that to make it, now it's not integrable. But to make it integrable, you can do the cross multiplication and then it will be take the integrable form. So I taking x square over here, x square dx is equal to y square dy. And now this is integrable, so just you integrate both sides. What we get after integration? We get something like x cube by 3 minus y cube by 3 is equal to c1. What we have done? We have just integrated, yes, we have just integrated it. Its integration is x cube by 3. Its integration is y cube by 3, and I shifted this y cube by 3 on the left hand side. So this is my first independent solution. X cube by 3 minus y cube by 3 is equal to c1. Okay, this is our first independent solution. Clear? So next, to find out the second independent solution, I see that grouping here is not possible over here. But if you look at here, if I add these two terms, I get the value x square plus y square, and in this term we have x square plus y square. So here I use a next method for multiplier. What we do? I take the multiplier here only for these two fractions. So how I do that in the next one? First I write this equation. It's dx upon this is y square into x plus y. This is dy upon x square into x plus y, and the last term is dz upon, what's that? It's x square plus y square into z. X square plus y square into z. So for the second solution, what we do? We take 1, 1, 0 as multipliers. Because what I need to do, I need to include only the first two fractions. So for the third factor, I take the multiplier 0. 1, 1, 0 as the multiplier. Look at what happened. The first factor I am multiplying by 1, second also by 1. So the numerator will become dx plus dy upon. Similar the denominator, I multiply this by 1, I getting y square into x plus y the same. Multiply this by 1, I get x square into x plus y the same. And I know that the multiplier result is equal to each fraction. So I write like this, equal to each fraction, which we write like. Okay, if I take the 0 also, so I write it here 0 dz, which is of no use. And similar, the denominator also gives the 0 for that part. So I have not included this over here. Just I try to solve it. I write dx plus dy upon x plus y. I take common outside. Inside the bracket, I have x square plus y square is equal to. Now, what happened? Here I am not getting 0 over here. If I get 0 over here in the denominator, just like the last example, I will shift this 0 over here. I get this integrable form, I solve it. But since this is not 0, so what I need to do, I need to equate it with any of these fractions suitably. So I think about that if I equate this with this third fraction, dz upon x square plus y square into z, then what happened? This will cancel out. And now we check whether this is integrable or not. How I check this? Look at this numerator. Can I write this as differential of x plus y upon x plus y, and the right hand side left is dz by z. Are you able to write this? So what I get? I get the derivative of the function in numerator and the function itself in denominator. And we know that to solve this type of expression, we have the formula for integral f dash x by fx dx, which is nothing but equal to log of fx. So I applied this formula to solve this integral, and this is integrable now. So just we integrate both sides, but we get the solution. Integration of this gives me log x plus y, and integration of this gives me log z, and let I take the constant also in log, it's log c2. Clear? Shifting log over here, apply the formula log a minus log b, so my second solution will become x plus y by z is equal to c2 is my second independent solution. X plus y by z equal to c2 is my second independent solution. In last, I can write down the complete solution. Again, this is second solution. Our first solution is this one, x cube minus y cube by 3. So finally, I write down my general solution, or I can say the complete solution, which is f of x cube by 3 minus y cube by 3, comma, x plus y divided by z equal to 0. This is our complete solution for this question. So in this method, you have seen that we can either apply the grouping method to find both the solutions, or the multiplier method to find both, or for one solution we use grouping and for another solution you use the multiplier. So that's all for today lecture.